Hello, my name is David Ridgely, and I am here to present on Christianity and its cultural background. So, some history and background information about Christianity. Christians are people who believe in the message of the New Testament of the Bible, people that believe that Jesus came and died for our sins and then rose from the grave and conquered death. Christianity dates all the way back to 20 AD, back when Jesus really started going out and preaching his messages and doing his teachings, and it exists until today. It started taking hold when Jesus' disciples spread the news about the new Messiah, or the coming of this Messiah, and it's an extension of the Jewish faith, which did not believe the Messiah has come yet, but the Christianity believes that the prophecy of the coming Messiah was fulfilled in Jesus. Some communication that is unique to Christianity, some verbal things such as the words as sin, repentance, mercy, sanctification, salvation, all those kinds of words are commonly used in Christian religion and faith, but are scarce outside of it. It's not very common to hear those sort of things. And some nonverbal would be like the sign of the cross. So you can see in this GIF going on, it's the touching of your body in a way that symbolizes the cross. This is particularly done in the Catholic Church, but it is a way that people identify God and in the Trinity. So symbols of Christianity, pretty common one, the cross. Everybody knows it. It's pretty common. It's the cross that you see online. It's the cross on the necklace. It's the cross in the home. It's become pretty common wherever you go. And back in the day, it used to just be a symbol of the church and someone who was a true follower of Christ. Some rules in Christianity. Obviously, there's the 10 Commandments, the big ones. Only worship the Lord your God. Do not create any idols. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor your father and mother. Do not kill. Do not commit adultery. Do not lie, steal, or covet. Those are the basic rules that were handed to Moses, and they're pretty generally good morals to follow by. You walk up to anybody, and anybody that's not killing, committing adultery, stealing, lying, whatever, is probably a pretty solid dude for the most part. So other rules or things about Christianity is that Jesus tells all his followers and people that listen that love is the most important thing. Loving God and loving people are the two biggest of his stresses in life. And another set of rules for Christianity would be the fruit of the Spirit, which is to carry love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. A lot of these rules are really just being a good person. If it had to be summed up into anything, it would just be that. So some values of the Christian faith. The value of love would probably be the most important in Christianity. In the Bible, it says in Mark 12, 29 through 31, the most important one, answered Jesus, is this: love your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment than these. As a whole, those are the words of Jesus saying, hey, this is what we're really about. This is what I value. This is what I look for in people who are part of my family and a part of Jesus' family. So one of my personal family traditions that I grew up with, I was homeschooled. So every fifth Friday, my church would go to a local soup kitchen, and we would help hand out food to the homeless and to people in need. And it was great to see people come out and just serve and be kind and loving to those who need it the most. And I remember on those days growing up, I always helped hand out desserts and applesauce and drinks or whatever it is. And it was great to see so many people show up, but it was also heartbreaking with the amount of people that showed up. And it was a chance for us as a church and as a group and as a family to reach out to those who are in need and really try to show God's love to them. And that was really a big thing about the Christian faith is being an extension of the church and going out into the world and showing love. Holidays in Christianity, two big ones that are really the highlights are Christmas and Easter. Everybody knows them. They are commonly celebrated, whether you're in the Christian faith or without. The first one being Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can kind of see some nativity sets and some of the focus of where Christians would have their mindset on of this is the birth of Jesus. This is the story that we've been over a million times. And we just really want to reflect on that today and be joyous in that time. And on the right, you can see just decorations galore of what a commercial Christmas might look like, or even just a shop of Christmas goods. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that shows the difference in what outside of Christianity culture would look like for celebrating Christmas and what the focus is on the Christian perspective. Same with Easter. It would be a celebration of Jesus rising from the dead. And on the left-hand side, you see a lot of the commercialized Easter eggs, bunny rabbits, all that fun stuff. Again, not bad, but different. So the focus of Christianity would be on the resurrection of Jesus. And in the picture, it says he is risen. And it is a good picture of what the focus of a Christian would have during the times of Easter and Christmas and the different holidays in which Christianity kind of celebrates. Some facts about Christianity. An average American congregation is roughly 61% female and 39% male. Now, along with that whole article, the author goes on saying that 5 in 6 men will say, yeah, I'm a Christian. I celebrate. I profess that Jesus is Lord and all these different things. But it's a shocking change that 5 in 6 men will say these things, but only 39% of the population are male. So there's a big separation in what is said and what is done. That's just an interesting fact about it. I also talk about how the church is a diverse place. There's tons of different segregations. There's Catholicism, Baptists, Methodists, Lutheran. You can name so many of them. But the common unification is Jesus dying to save people from their sins. So along with that, there are churches of more progressive and are more likely to adapt to the world and some of its changes, while some churches are old school and like to stay that way and kind of hold on to their older beliefs. So there are some pictures. You might recognize Oak Ridge if you're in the Salisbury area. That is a local church here. It is newer. It is set in what used to be a mall. So the building's nice, brand new, looks gorgeous. And I also have a picture of an older church set in there. So Christianity in school. When it comes to work and school, it's a common message portrayed from the Christian households and churches that for all you do, do it for the glory of God. So with that, Christianity is not really a religion of standing or job status. We as Christians, me just more saying for myself, we would see ourselves as children of God. That is our title. That we hold and we hold with pride. So when talking about getting a degree, getting money, whatever the status might be that we would hold with a job, that doesn't really go above being a child of God. So when I talk about things about highly educated or poorly educated Christians, the spectrum is so wide. There's no bearing on, most Christians are this, most Christians are that. The spectrum is so wide that the idea of Christianity in school is no matter where you're at in school, there's always a Christian who is going to be right beside you in that level. Christian is very important in Christianity, education is very important in Christianity. Teachers are very respected. Early on in Jesus' teachings, he would go on to talk about how teachers are crucial, but they need to be wary of their job because they are the public's first look. When something goes wrong with a student, they're going to go to the teacher. When something is missaid or something goes wrong, you as a teacher need to be held liable. So the job is high risk, and that's what in the Bible it kind of talks about how being a teacher is a dangerous profession. You are under a lot of watchful eyes, and though it is very highly held up in esteem in the Christian faith. It is definitely revered as one of those jobs that takes a very strong leader to be able to enter. And going through Christian education, you can see that in a lot of different Christian settings, they will teach government, economics, history, language, fine arts, math, whatever it might be, but with the overarching theme of how God has worked in those things. So that's how it kind of fits in the scope of school. So going into a little bit of the more sad part of Christianity, sexism, racism, and homophobia have been sadly a deep, deep scar on the Christian faith. And it is, at least from my perspective, it is solely because people are looking at the Bible and picking and choosing what they want to listen to and what they want to read. So in doing so, it is causing a great gash in a lot of the communities, how they view Christianity, how people see it, and how Christians portray themselves. So to kind of sum it all up, if Christianity is practiced right, like I talked about earlier, love is the biggest thing. Loving God and loving people. And if you're able to love people, no matter how they might look, however might they whether it's male, female, whatever, you love them regardless. And if you're practicing Christianity right, or if you're just in a godly relationship, it's a matter of you should not be sexist, racist, homophobic, or driven anything by hate or superiority. We are not better than anybody else. And I put some of these photos up here to show how sad it is. Women feeling like they're trapped to the household chores. And even I have a picture in here of some Christians marching in an LGBTQ parade, saying, "I'm sorry, I'm here to apologize on behalf of the other Christians who have been malicious and hateful and mean and so awful." And I thought it was actually a really good picture of showing how even in these times where Christians are seen as disgusting and mean and just old-fashioned or whatever it might be, just a good representation of, hey, we're not all bad. We don't all hate you. We're called to love, and hopefully that is the main focus of the Christian. But yeah. So physical activity implications. Sunday is the day of rest. So for some Christians, if you ask them to go to practice, go to a game on Sunday, some of them might say no. Some of them might say, I got to go to church first, but I'll be there right after. The spectrum is wide. It really depends on the household and how they were raised. So some activities in Christianity could really be anything. There are lots of churches that have softball, basketball, or volleyball teams that play with local churches or rec leagues, whatever it might be. Being a Christian doesn't necessarily mean you have a sport, or it doesn't mean you don't have a sport. It really could be anything. Christian can, when taught in the context of a sport, or Christianity, when taught in the context of a sport or a team, would stress the values of teamwork, respect, kindness, and fairness, among a multitude of other things. FCA is an awesome organization that my brother actually works for. He's on staff with them, and he goes out to have camps to go into high schools where they will create a fun, loving environment where the students can play sports. And at the end of the day, they can get together, do a quick prayer, and just have good Christian fellowship within a school or within that environment. Clothing usually isn't a big deal, but in general, Christians are kind of taught to stay modest. So that means for some who take that to the nth degree, that would be to wear floor-length dresses and all that sort of stuff. But some, as long as you're not showing too much, it's all right. So sometimes Christians take time to fast. But that's more of an occasion on if there's something bad going on in the world, or if there's something going on. Some do, some don't. It's really a toss-up. So some Christian websites would be Crosswalk is a great place to start if you want to read the Bible, do some podcasts, some sermons, some devotions, whatever it might be. If you want to just get to know more, this is a great website to go to. Most people that have a Bible on their phone will probably have the YouVersion Bible app. It is the most used Bible app on all devices. You can use the student. You can teach a lot of Bible stories, and it has thousands upon thousands of translations or even languages. going on to Christianity.com, this is a great place to start. If you have questions, if you want to just learn more about the Christian faith in general, this is a great place to be. Awesome to go in, check it out. They got some good writers, readers, all that sort of stuff that would edit some scholarly articles and give you a perspective on what Christianity might look like in a lot of different ways. And that is my sources. I hope you all learned an awesome bit about Christianity, whether it was something new or something that just kind of re-sparked the fire, but that is my presentation.